Okay, we are rolling. Welcome back to your host. I would say that. I would. Okay. Welcome back to Crave Your Growth Podcast. I am your host, Jobana Creates. Yes. Why did I say it like that? I don't know. I always tend to bring out that side of me when I feel sassy. Honestly, that's what it is. And it's okay. We're gonna go with it because this is the year that I just do me and I don't care. And it's taken me so, much growth to even get to this point that I'm just like, I honestly don't care. I don't care what people think. At this point, I'm like, I need to express myself in some way where I need to find an outlet, And it's strange to me because for the longest time that I could remember, I basically, I feel like, how do I say this? Okay, well, first of all, this is gonna go with the flow for a good minute. Your girl's trying to plan this shit out, but I feel like at this point in time, I just need to go for it because there have been times in the past where I have always been scared to do this because I'm like, well, what if it doesn't work? And, what are people going to think of me? Or honestly, it comes down to I feel like I needed to have all the answers. I feel like I needed to have everything figured out, everything in place before even being able to share my experience. And that's something that I'm just like, okay, it's not, I learned that that's not something that you need to have in order to be willing to share. We are all at a point where we can share something in our lives and help someone else, either going through something similar or just giving somebody else a new perspective. Maybe people don't relate fully, but they are very appreciative of people sharing their stories and just giving them a whole new world, basically, to expand their worldview about, because your world only consists of what you know, right? So it's just crazy to think that there is one person out there that can benefit from you sharing your story. And honestly, it's more than one person, because if you think about it, even if it, let's say in this lifetime, you finally shared your story, your perspective of this world, which is what I'm trying to finally express here. Okay, let's see, I lost my train of thought. That's cool. Okay. So what I'm basically saying is that maybe in this lifetime, you share your story in some way, in some form, and one person hears it, and then that one person goes to share their story because they were so inspired by you, or just saw that it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to share what you've gone through, what made you up to this point. And so that one person will continue to do the same, and it will continue to be a chain of reaction. Everything is a chain reaction. Everybody has influence over the people around them, whether it's good, bad, intentional, unintentional, conscious, subconscious. We're all picking up on each other's cues, and I truly believe that we all can learn something from anybody. Literally, do not dismiss some other human being and being able to teach you something, because if we just open up and remain open and in receiving mode and just in listening mode and understanding and being a decent human being, you can probably learn a lot about people or learn something from someone who you thought you couldn't learn, and that's basically what it comes down to, because we can choose to basically either do a chain of pain, which is what I've heard Esther and Abraham Hicks call it, a chain of pain. And what does that mean? That basically means like you have a bad day, so let's say you're in a bad mood, right? Or for whatever reason, right? You're not happy with where you are, so you're just like, ugh, everything is going wrong. I spilled my coffee. I was late to work. Um, you got pulled over, or you're stuck in traffic. Just like these little things that keep irritating you, right? And it's like you will continue to go with your mood like that because we haven't switched the perspective of it, or just like brushing things off sometimes. And so when we don't deal with the things inside of us, these little tiny everyday mundane things can trigger us to the max. And then that basically leads to a chain of pain reactions, because you will treat the next person not as great, but then they will go ahead and treat another person not as great because of whatever they received from a person who wasn't having a great day. And so it's a constant chain of reaction of pain, so the chain pain. And so in this same form, you can literally do the same thing in just a different, better perspective. And then I'm not here to tell you that it's all about good vibes, it's all about positive vibes. Well, that would be fun, and actually it would probably get boring at some point if you're just know that everything or not boring, okay, like it'll be fun that everything would be going great and it's just great and you feel great and that's just like how it is. But life is all about ups and downs. I like to think of the heartbeat, and when your heart is beating, you are alive, right? And so when your heart is beating on the on that little, when when they graph your heartbeat, it's a up and down lines, right? We all know how a heartbeat line looks like, up and down, and that is when you are alive, right? And so if you think of what happens when we pass, your heartbeat flatlines and it's just a straight line. So imagine life without ups and downs. It's like dead. You're not alive, it's not about just all positive, positive, positive. Like toxic positivity is something I found myself in, and I believe I talked about this on the first ever episode that I did put out, which was, I'm pretty sure it was like well over a year ago. Shoot, no, like 2 years ago, because my son was not even walking yet. And I remember not even being able to make like a full sentence about me like sharing my experience because of how much pain it still brought me, like to just even think about it. Because I was like, when I first was starting to vocalize it, and now I've had a lot of time to process it, which is why I never like even continued to do the podcast. Like I just did. I got in my own way. I self-doubted. And it wasn't even about like, oh, nobody's listening. I literally put it out, and I don't know. I was so afraid that I was just like, whatever. I'm not even gonna look at the views and stuff, and it didn't matter. Like I did put it out there. But I put it out there once, but I didn't continue to go. And what I really want to do is like have great conversations with other soulful beings. Like everyone has a soul, so I feel like I can learn anything from anyone. And as long as you're open-minded and willing to like have a dope conversation without judgment, and like a safe place to just fucking be vulnerable and share what needs to be shared with, like I feel like that's what I want to do, and that's what I want to make it one day, and I see myself there. wow, I just got emotional. But okay, so I see myself there already, and I'm right here. So like, that's like how you just know. That's how you go. Like, you get these glimpses of your future, and like, who? What? I'm so emotional. What the heck? Okay, let me be avoidant right now. I'm very avoidant, so this is me being vulnerable, owning up to my own shit. I am very avoidant, so like, I'm trying not to cry. I'm trying to see why I got so emotional. Even trying to just say that sentence here, and I'm like fighting tears, and I'm driving, which is why I'm not looking at the screen. And I sure hope everything is being recorded, because this is the first go at it. But yeah, there's just like a lot of things that I'm doing right now in the moment, which is why I'm being so avoidant. Oh my gosh, sorry. Sorry, not sorry, because I'm trying not to apologize for being me. And right now, this is me. This is something that I'm trying to work through. And this is probably something you're going to see me grow through, most likely. Not even most likely. You will see me grow through this, because I know that right now I suck. Right now, it's okay to suck. I'm just starting off, and I'm not going to expect perfection anymore, because perfectionism has held me back for so long. Procrastinating has held me back for so long. I was listening to a podcast. Who was it? I think it was from the School of Greatness. Check him out, Lewis. Lewis. Ooh, I can't remember his last name. Sorry, but I did remember his first name. So Lewis, School of Greatness podcast. I'm pretty sure there was an episode there where I heard him talking to someone, and I'm gonna get better with names too, okay, and like referencing things, and I feel like that's another thing that has held me back. Holy shit, okay, I'm just having aha moments right now in real time. So I just realized that that's one of the things that has held me back from even ever making content, for continuing the podcast that I did start, but now I'm restarting. Rebirth. Ooh, okay, that feels good. So I am realizing a few things here, that I procrastinated that because I always felt like I needed to know everything, or I needed to have the facts. I needed to be an expert to even be able to mention my opinion or my experience about the thing. Like, but now I'm realizing I am an expert of my own experience. We are all experts of our own experience. Okay? Woo! I'm glad I made that connection right now, because I needed to say that out loud. So I felt like I needed to be an expert on the subject to be able to share my personal experience about said subject. And like, in a prime example is like me being able to like become self-aware and go through this healing process and this healing journey. I've waited years to even start talking about it, and even sharing my experience, in hopes that like all this reaches whoever it's meant to reach at whatever time they need it. Because I know it can get lonely, and right now there is a lot of people who are on the same path, and we're all like in the same little boat, little big boat, because there's a lot of things going on. But I'm my expert. Fuck yeah. I'm okay with that. I'm my expert, and ain't nobody can tell me how I experience something, and how I remembered. And so, here we are. I'm just gonna share my fucking experience and my personal opinions, and this is by no means no advice or any professional medical advice. This is not that. This is not anything to guarantee you that this will change your life. I'm basically just gonna share from now on, like, this is what I did, this is how this helped me, everyone's different, so like you can try it and see if it works for you. If not, like look for something else, but know that there's options and there's ways in which you can go on this self-healing journey, self-mastery journey, and just get to know yourself more, because that is basically what I've like come to dedicate my life to, because that's what life is. Like I feel like we're here to learn about ourselves so we can like broaden ourselves and be empathetic and compassionate and be able to open ourselves up to other people as well, because if you're not healing yourself, you can't hold space for someone else. You know what I mean? It's like when I was damaged, I couldn't hold space for anybody else. Like I needed to hold space for myself before I can hold space for anybody else. It's like the saying always goes, that's why you put yourself first. And it's just, I think my journey is just like wrapping my head around that fact that that it's, you gotta put yourself first. And like everything that I had gone through was obstacles on learning why it's important to put myself first. And I'm realizing right now that the obstacles that I have been put through in this lifetime were just obstacles to help me put myself first. So yeah, normally you can look at your said weaknesses to find your strengths. Like, for example, another thing why I've always held back from like continuing from this content creation or just sharing my experience in video form to the public and everything, like this is a decision I'm making now because I know it will go to the places it needs to reach. And I have full faith that it will. And I would just procrastinate to the point where the train has left the station, guys. So I'm stuck in traffic right now, but I heard this quote I listen to a lot of podcasts, so it was from a podcast. I'm pretty sure it was the Jay Shetty podcast. Go check him out. He is valuable, and guess what? I am going to manifest being on his podcast. Said and done. I'm going to do it. It already happened. He's going to be my bestie. No, just really cool to like broaden. Okay, I'm probably going to cut that off. Let's just start